Hello and welcome to this Chaosium game of Call of Cthulhu with me, Mike Mason. I'll be your keeper tonight, and we will be playing an adventure called A Night in Lonesome Darkwood. But before we begin, we are joined by some illustrious players tonight, and I will ask everyone to introduce yourselves, who you are, and the character you're going to be playing tonight, please. So, Todd, would you like to kick off?
Absolutely. My name is Todd Stashwick. I am actor, writer, game person thing. And today I will be playing Wentworth Avebury. And he is a fastidious investigator of spiritualism and all things supernatural. He's a slender man with a severe part, wears a monocle, fastidious, thin moustache. And he is grieving the loss of his wife, Jane.
Very good.
That's all I got. I mean,
that's good enough.
More later. That's all.
Harley, would you like to go next?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Harli Kane, and I'm a cosplayer, streamer, performer, and today I'm playing Lois Russo, who is an engineering student, and she's pretty superstitious, but her professor is really into the occult, so this is research for the invention that her and her professor are working on.
Oh, sounds mysterious. Very good. KP.
Hey, hello everyone. My name is KP. I go by KP Living Studios on all social medias. I am a photographer. I do wonderful stories like this at various tables. I'm also a voice actor and occasional writer. So if any of that interests you, come check me out. And today I get to play the dashing Deepak Chaudhary, who is a archaeologist who I'm playing up the Indiana Jones trope hardcore today, essentially. So, but yes, he's out here to visit his family and to perhaps even figure out where something has gone missing and see why this invitation to this location was brought to him.
Okay, and last but not least, Omar.
Hi everyone, I'm Omar. I writer-director, and I get to play wonderful stories like this with these incredible people. I'm so excited about this table, and today I get to be Karan Chowdhury, and I am an academic. I am a skeptic. I don't believe in any of this nonsense whatsoever, and my mind is currently occupied by the missing disappearance of one of my family members. So that's something that I'm a bit distracted by. If I seem a bit off, that's why, and I apologize. We'll see what happens.
Okay, so before we get into it, I know that most of you have some familiarity with Call of Cthulhu, or maybe none at all. So I don't need to worry. I'm going to be kind of guiding you through the rules such as they are. It's a pretty rules-like game. And the main thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of things to be aware of that you may kind of, take into account when you get into the game. But anything else, I will just talk you through it as and when and if we get into it in a particular scene. So the game is based on skill rolls, and they're all 100 out of 100, so they're all percentile. And when you want to do something, if you think you're going to need to make a roll, what I want you to do is tell me what you're trying to achieve. Not necessarily tell me I want to make a climb roll. I want to hear you say I want to scale the wall because I want to get to the top or whatever it may be. Yeah, tell me what your goal is, because sometimes a roll may not actually be necessary, or it may be a different roll to the one that you thought it might be. So we kind of set a goal and then work out from there. Now, once you make the roll, you're trying to make a roll equal to or under your value on your investigator sheet. And then the key thing is, if you fail the roll, you have three options. First, you can just let the fail ride, and it didn't happen. You didn't make the roll. Or you'll see that all your characters have a luck value near the top of your character sheets, and what you can do is you can burn your luck points to actually alter a roll. So let's say you've got 50% in climb, and you roll 55 and you failed it by 5 points, you can burn 5 of your luck points, reducing it down to make the roll a success. And you can burn as many luck points as you like, depending on the situation. The third option you have is to push the roll. Now, this is a second and final attempt to basically try again. The difference being you justify that by telling me what extra effort or, what are you doing more than you did before to achieve success? And you get to roll again. However, if you fail a push roll, be aware that you can't spend luck on a pushed roll. And also, if you fail a pushed roll, the failure result is worse than what it would have been with just a regular failure, because you are upping the ante, and therefore the failure could be worse, basically. The only other rule just to mention is your sanity points. And again, near the top of the sheet, you've got a sanity value, which is your kind of mental resilience to the horrors and the kind of mind-twisting outraness of the Cthulhu mythos that can affect you. And when you encounter certain situations, I might ask you to make a sanity roll, which you roll just like a skill roll, rolling a percentile to roll equal to or under. If you fail it, you will lose some sanity points. The more sanity points you lose, the more chance you have a bout of madness where things go a little out of hand for a moment or two, and you kind of maybe act out of character, do something strange, do something dangerous even, and so on and so on. But they're the key rules. But again, don't worry about it. I will talk you through, and if you have any questions, just let me know and we will work it through. Okay, so are you all sitting comfortably and ready to start? Okay.
Yes.
Then we shall begin. It is winter, 1922. There's a cold wind blowing through New England. The snow has been falling thick for days, settling thick upon the ground. And your team has been summoned to the house of Roger Darkwood. He has requested a team of paranormal investigators to investigate his property because of a state of unnatural occurrences that have plagued him since he purchased the property earlier this year. As you are all members of the Society for the Exploration of the Unexplained, based out of Miskatonic University in Arkham, you've seen a few things like this before, but you've not actually ever seen any real evidence that you could prove of, strange manifestations, ghosts and the like. And 9 out of 10 times it's down to some, boiler or some woodwork creaking in the night. And quite frankly, this is probably what you've got here, you no doubt think to yourselves as you head out of Arkham, across the countryside of New England, to find this Darkwood house, which is situated in the wilderness, really, outside of any main conurbations. After a long drive through the snow, it's now nighttime, early evening, but the snow is pouring down, and you have arrived outside of Darkwood house. The building stands foreboding in the darkening twilight of the evening. Dark and stormy clouds cluster above you. The snow is already settling thick on the path that was perhaps cleared earlier today, and it's getting cold sitting in the car. What would you like to do?
And we're all together in this vehicle together.
Yeah. Doesn't matter who's driving, but whoever's driving is driving, and yeah.
I would imagine.
Ready?
No, please. Someone else go first.
Well, you guys ready to go in? Yeah. Ready?
He puts the car into park and slams on the brakes and sort of gives a hopeful look at the house, excited, hoping finally to prove some theory or another. Make sure he has his pencils and his various accoutrements, and he turns to the group. Shall we begin?
Lua or Lois is like taking notes. I have my notepad out and I'm like, house looks spooky. I'm already taking notes.
You see Deepak just come out and he stretches and he goes, all right, well, let's get this over with. And he comes up and smacks Wentworth on the back and goes, well, best of luck this time, bud.
Luck is certainly part of it, isn't it? He sees his breath clear and the snow crunches the bottom of his feet. He's a bit underweight at this point. He's been not eating well as of late. The dreams, he says, I will always stand behind your strength if things get spicy.
Yeah, if another floorboard creaks again, I'll punch it down, I suppose. Turns to Cutter and's like, ready to go, Brad?
Gudden hasn't been really interacting with everyone as much. I start to collect up my bags, which is several, and I look out at the snow, which peeves me. The idea of there being muck on the way to the house as I look down at my shoes and I did not come dressed for this particular tiny stretch of the journey. Yes, I suppose we should get inside where it's warm sooner than later.
Indeed. Well, what got your jacket and bunch? Come on, it's an adventure.
Nothing in particular. I just am looking to find out the exact reasons for this invitation. To find our host, speak with them, and get on our way, if that's quite all right with everybody else. And it's bloody cold right now.
Indeed.
Sorry, how did we acquire these invitations? Was there a connection, or are we like listed?
So the organisation you're members of is reasonably known, and because the organisation is based out of the university, it's kind of like a point of call for people to ring up and say, hey, strange things are happening. Can you send someone to look into it? And the university, just basically forwards these on to the society, who then basically say, hey, could you go and look into this for us and see if there's anything behind it, basically.
Thank you.
So you can see, sorry.
No, please go ahead, please.
I was going to say, so you can see the front porch of the house. It's looks like a single-story building, reasonably large, but not a big sort of country house, manor house type thing. Much more sedate. You can see there's a light on in the porch, and through the snow falling, you can make out a large front door with what looks like some sort of large, shiny metal knocker right in the middle of it.
Oh, no time like the present.
As you go to reach the handle on the knocker, you notice it's fashioned in the head of some sort of devil or demon with a leering grin, and in the kind of half light on the house and the moon, the metal has an unusual sheen to it, almost kind of like oil, like an oil stick. It's kind of iridescent kind of quality to it. But as you knock, there's a momentary pause, and then the door creaks open, and a chap stands behind with a thin smile and greets you, saying, you must be from the university. I am Roger Darkwood. Please come inside, out of the cold.
Oh, thank you.
He takes you through a hall, and then on your left is a parlor of sorts, and takes you inside where are some comfy chairs, and asks you to take a seat and asks whether you would like something to warm you up, perhaps a brandy.
Oh,
that sounds lovely. Yes, please.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I'll stick with a tea if that's all right with you.
Yeah, as you will. Just please dry yourselves off by the fire and take a seat. I'll be back with your drinks momentarily.
What about Miss Russo? I don't think she had the chance to.
A tea would be lovely. And I'm honestly very distracted by taking notes of like anything that I'm seeing. I'm still looking at like, the wallpaper and everything as he's, offering us drinks.
You notice, Lois, that actually this all looks, although the house seems reasonably old, the actual kind of furniture and fittings are all really new, very, very modern, in fact. The wallpaper in the hall is, pristine. And in the parlor where you are, it's a wood-paneled room, but the majority of the walls are shelved, and it's a sort of like a small library of sorts, really. Although the books in there aren't new, they do seem to be reasonably old, an old sort of collection. Other than the fireplace, which you'd say is, perhaps original or near original, but everything else, all the furniture is brand new, very clean.
Wentworth steps up to the library, and I'm looking at the spines of the books to see what sort of collection these people favor. He's a languages professor. He certainly has 2 feet in literature, so you can judge a person by their books.
Sure. Well, the section you're looking at seems to be mainly a collection of history books. You notice there's quite a large collection of what would be world history and European history, but in the shelf next to it seems to be a lot of American history books, as well as you can kind of see there's quite a lot of novels and maybe some copies of different kind of editions of the Bible and religious kind of treatises and so forth. But majority seem to be history and novels, ranging back, certainly 100 years or so.
Anything catch your eye, Wentworth? Any
certainly the purveyors of this home realize that to know where you're going, you know where you've been. So they certainly have their lives looking backwards so they can look forwards, yes.
Nothing out of the ordinary, you would say?
Well, they certainly want to know who and where they come from. American history, European history, a bit of religion, but every household, I'm sure, in this area contains a Bible.
The real learning is out in the fields, I must say. Books and all that, they can only teach you so much. You dig your hands deep enough into the earth, you find some history somewhere down there yourself, and then...
But then someone must document what you found, and that is what is collected in these books.
Leave that to others.
Isn't that right, Lois?
Exactly. I'm gonna grab a Bible and hold it near my chest.
Yeah, as you pull it off the shelf, you feel the almost ancient leather of its bindings creak and crumble a little bit. Certainly seems pretty old. As you do so, Roger Darkwood returned with a silver tray with some brandy and some tea ready to pour, and places it down and begins, I'll be mother, and begins to pour the tea, handing you your respective beverages, and takes a seat. And so I'm so pleased you're here. You can now, in the light, you can see him a little bit more clearly. He's a tall and spindly fellow with quite pale skin, and well, he's got green eyes, but they're very, very bloodshot, you notice. And at this point, could you make a spot hidden roll?
And what would that involve?
So that's a D100, and look at your spot hidden value and roll.
You just roll one D100.
Just one D, yeah, one 100. That's right. So you want to get equal to or below your skill value on the sheet.
Got it. And which skill are we looking at again?
Spot hidden.
I got a 43, and my spot hidden is 50. So yes.
Okay, that's a success. Yes.
I got a 73 and mine is a 50, so.
Not so good. Okay.
Okay, I got a 91 and it says 25.
Yeah, that's not so good.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And I've been quiet and staying to myself for the most part. So my 21 roll, which is under my 45.
No.
Okay.
Isn't that like below even his halfway point? Isn't that like a...
Yeah, that's a hard success. So you know, very observant this time. Yes, well spotted that. So yeah, Wentworth and Karen, you as he sits down, he's not wearing an elegant bow tie or a necktie. He's got an open shirt with a cravat, but it's quite loose. And as he sits down and kind of just sort of adjusts himself, you notice that around his neck there are like scratch marks. You can see the skin is healing. They're not super new, but these sort of scratch marks. And Karen, as you notice one on the other side that is again another scratch, but it's pretty. That looks more recent to you. That looks like you can see it's much more a dark welt that clearly drew blood, but is maybe a handful of days ago, perhaps in terms of time, not really healed yet.
I lean over to Karen and I say quietly, to not be heard, as my grandfather used to say, this man looks like he's been ate by a goat and shot over a cliff.
Apt words from your grandfather. We should probably find out a little bit more about that. What is the gentleman wearing?
He's wearing, as I say, he's got a cravat and shirt, a kind of a button-down cardigan, and a pair of trousers.
I'll turn to him. Wentworth and I were just speaking about this beautiful cardigan that you have. This is quite extraordinary, and I'd like to kind of sort of touch and hold the edges of it that kind of like lead up to the collar. Okay.
And what are you trying to get out of this?
Get a little bit of a closer look, but without sort of like tipping off exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, so I'm not going to make you roll again because you made a good roll already. You go over you do this, and it's obviously quite hard to without pulling his shirt open, but you kind of make him twist his head as you kind of muck about with his cardigan, and you can see there's definitely there's maybe another more recent kind of scratch or cut. It's hard to tell because
is it just one or are there several?
He's got one. The one you saw first here, like deeper cut. He's got another that's kind of just below the collar line, a deeper cut here, and then above the collar line that are far more faded, but you can see them if you look.
As if perhaps someone grabbed him by the throat.
Healed or cuts. Hard
over
to tell.
time.
They're not. They are. The deeper ones seem much more like a knife cut or a long shaving cut if you're using a straight razor. The others are a little bit more jagged, almost like scratches. They're a bit more jagged, I guess, would be the difference.
Mr. Darkwood, please.
As I adjust the cardigan, I will turn to Wentworth very quickly and just say, it would seem that the proverbial goat that your grandfather spoke of might have been feasting on quite a few meals from the look of this gentleman.
Indeed. Mr. Darkwood, clearly brought us here for a reason. What has been keeping you up as of late?
Well, yes, I'm sure you would like to get to it. Yes, indeed. I
seem troubled.
Yes, I've been very troubled. I moved into this house 8 months ago. You see, I previously lived in Arkham, where I worked as an administrator in a legal firm. It was a bit of a humdrum job and not really well suited to me, and I kind of yearned for other things, but I felt my fate was sealed and I would be working there for many a year. But I was very fortunate that I was left a sizable bequest by my late uncle Clive, who passed.
Nothing like a good bequest
he allowing me to give up work and to move out to the far better air of the countryside, where I hope to be able to work on the novel that I always wished to write. And this is
a bit of Thoreau, yeah.
I had this dream of being a writer, and now I have the means to spend my time at the typewriter. So I have to say I have not produced much so far because of the awful situation I now find myself in. You see, it all began about a month after I moved in, after the workmen had finished refurbishing the house. At first, I noticed strange sounds, knocking in the night, and then later in the daytimes too, for which I could find no cause. And then I would, as I would move about, I would come into these areas of freezing cold, these cold spots that would come without warning and remain for some time before dissipating. It was then, soon after, the apparitions started to appear. Yes, these phantom figure. I would best describe it as a small and crooked man who would startle me upon entering a room and then suddenly vanish. It was quite frightful and set my nerves on terrible. Sometimes I would wake up in the night from the dreams I was also having, and I would see the creeping man sitting above me and looking down, watching me. And even when I couldn't see him, even in the daytime, I've always felt someone watching me, unseen. I have suffered horrendous dreams since subsequently, and this creeping fellow pouring at me. I dream of him slashing my skin and his awful nail-like claws, and I find my bedsheets drenched in blood, and then I awake, and there's just a deathly quiet around me, but these dreams plague me. I am at my wit's end. I cannot write. I have invested all my money in this house, and I beg, I beg you, if you can find a cause or to rid me of this creeping spirit that haunts me.
Have you ever tried to separate yourself from this home briefly? I mean, just walk outside, maybe go for a day or two, a spell or two away from the home, and have you found, if you have done so, these apparitions, these dreams, what you have it going away? Or do they happen to follow you?
No, I have on occasion visited the nearest town for supplies, and I did, in fact, spend one night in a local hotel. But and yes, indeed, I suffered no ill there. I know the nightmare did not come, and I had no sense of being watched. Yet I felt a strange desire to not leave the house for too long. I dreaded to think what this phantom would do unabated. And as I say, I've invested too much to lose this house and to throw it open to this evil that seems to possess it.
Mr. Darkwood, as of course, first and foremost, we must rule out the obvious. Now, certain people that we've interviewed in the past have suffered from some somnambular disorders. They find themselves moving and walking in their sleep, rolling out of bed. And sometimes there was that gentleman, Lois, who, remember, he said he was being attacked by a hammer and he was pounding himself in the head in his sleep. So as you, upon waking, did you notice that perhaps you might have clawed yourself? Did you examine your hands or fingernails to see if your own flesh was neath them?
He kind of puts his hand up here, unconsciously. Yes, I have of late awakened to find these terrible scratches and cuts around my neck. I fear the dreams have made me unconsciously do this thing. I
at one point dreamt of
wearing gloves
myself.
in bed.
Yes. So you were doing this to yourself, you believe?
I believe so, although Although if I would not put it past this phantom to physically harm me. I feel a sense of dread when it appears.
Well, upon waking and when you are showering and getting yourself ready in the morning, have you noticed perhaps your own flesh and blood caked beneath your fingernails?
I have not.
Huh?
What about?
And,
have you had? Oh,
and Mr. Darkwood, you called a priest? Has the home been blessed at all?
No. I renounced the church some years ago. After my fiance was taken from us, I did not find that there was any comfort to be found in the church.
So these Bibles aren't yours?
No. These books in this room. There are a few that are mine that I brought with me, but these came with the house. These were here originally.
I'm sorry to hear about your fiance. And do you know anything about the people that used to live here?
Not a great deal. I believe the house dates back to the late 1700s. The last owner, I was told, passed some 10 years ago, and a Mr. Cricket, I believe, who was something of a recluse and left no family. And the house stood empty for many a year since he passed.
Has any of Mr. Cricket's belongings been left behind?
The books and
any photos or renderings, paintings?
No, nothing to
charcoal sketches,
to visualize him. No
clay sculpture.
No, just a
caricature from a fair.
No, I'm afraid not. Just the books and the hard fittings around the house I kept for the period. The gaslight holders, the fireplaces, and so on. The wooden doors.
The gaslights. Have you checked for a leak?
The one thing I was unable to alter at this time was to bring the new electricity to this house. Hence why we are still lit by gaslight and candles here.
Have you had any form of inspections done on this home?
Well,
anything at all? I mean, the coldness that you felt could have been simply via draft and poor plumbing, poor systems in the house.
Well, I had workmen in for some months before I moved in, shoring the place up and making it livable after its 10 years of disuse. So I feel secure that the doors and the windows are firm and
I lift my nose in the air to see if I can detect any gas leak of any kind.
You don't. Difficult. No, you can't. Other than the actual smell of the actual gas flames, but nothing.
Patchouli, cinnamon, the tea, the brandy. What am I smelling?
You're smelling the kind of a sense of. There's a coppery smell on the air.
Coppery smell. You know what else smells like copper?
Keeper.
Pennies.
I apologize. I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. Is there any ways to do sort of like an insight on what he's saying?
Yeah, there's a psychology skill.
Okay.
And you can tell me.
It's really low, but I'll try.
Don't forget, you can use luck to,
Oh yes.
Out of curiosity, if you don't have anything in those fields, what does that represent?
Okay, so next to every skill is a number in brackets, which is the basic chance everyone to use that skill. So even if you only have 1%,
how do you get below 1%?
You could still make the roll.
0.01%.
And don't forget, you can spend luck points to change a roll to 1 if you have enough luck.
So okay, I'm sorry. So if I wanted to change my luck, or I wanted to change my roll with luck, how do I do that?
So first of all, what is your psychology skill? What's your value?
10.
Okay. So
and I got a 75.
Okay, so you would need to spend 65 points of luck to make that a 10.
Nope.
Okay, so in this case, you're trying to read him.
Nope.
Trying to read him, but you're not really getting anything.
Okay.
Anything extra. He's, you feel that he's genuine. You don't get a sense that he's lying or making this up. But you did fail the roll, so it's difficult to tell. But you feel he's being genuine.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Are there
Doctor.
any?
Oh, please.
Sorry. Are there any form of like old artifacts or old pieces of work that stand out in this space that I'm looking around in? Anything that, aside from the doorknob that we saw earlier, which actually one of the other things that he would probably have tried to observe before he walked in was the doorknob to see if, of what make, what year it might possibly have been from.
And
Sure.
It looks demonic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a little closer look before you went in. You can't see any kind of maker's marks or dates on there. It's definitely fully metal. It's what was difficult, and again, it might be the light, but it's got this iridescent kind of sheen to it, which is kind of fairly unique and remarkable. And difficult to kind of say, well, it's not steel, it's not iron, it's something else, and a different, an unusual alloy perhaps. But what, as you think on that in this room, you notice that the kind of the gaslight sconces that hold the gas lights up, they have a kind of an iridescent shine too. So perhaps they're similar metal or the same kind of metal, perhaps.
Would I be able to investigate further?
Again.
May I investigate it a little further and kind of see if I can find more about why it seems to have this iridescence to it?
Sure, you can go and have a look. Yeah, definitely. Roger says, I expect you will want to, make your way around the house. Please feel free to go where you will and do what you will. I'm not particularly learned in how you would deal with this matter, but please, my house is open to you, so please direct away.
Mr. Dunn.
Any particular rooms that we need to stay out of or
No.
investigate?
All my rooms are open to you. At this point, I shout to David, "Can you bring up the map?" Thank you. So in the chat is a map of the house you can open on your screens.
Nice.
Love a map.
Mr. Darkwood, might I ask what room on your house the apparition first appeared?
I first encountered it in the sitting room.
Were you
I have-
accompanied
I have
by a feeling
seen
of the
it,
cold in the sitting room?
The sitting room, and I felt the cold in there as well. But I've also seen it in the bedroom and the dining room and the hallway subsequently.
The first place that the spirit appeared to you was in the sitting room.
Yeah.
And is that that's not the room we're in right now?
No, you're in the parlor.
We're in the parlor.
Yeah.
Well, might I go investigate the sitting room while my dear friend is checking your sconces?
Yeah. Oh, please do. Please do. Please feel free to enjoy your drink and do what you will. I will remain here. I don't want to get under your feet, but please, if there's anything I can do, or you have any other questions, and then I'm here for you definitely. So while Wentworth heads out, Deepak, you're going to go and look at these sconces.
Yeah. And if I may, actually, I might like usher over Cutter and then be like, "Have you happened to see any of these in your collections before? I feel like something about this seems odd."
I will absolutely lend a hand to this investigation.
Okay. And Lois, are you? What are you doing at this point?
If you don't mind, Mr. Darkwood, I would like to look at your books one more time before I leave the parlor.
Oh, please do. Yes. Okay. So, Deepa and Charan, you have a look at these sconces. Now, do either of you have any particular skill in any of the sciences?
Sciences. Ooh. Which one? I mean, I do have archaeology as mine. It's
Okay.
more of my primary.
Anything under specifically the science skill?
Is there?
I have biology.
I don't have anything. In
Okay,
science.
that's fine. That's fine. I'm just double checking. In that case, then, could I ask you both to make a no roll, which is basically, if you look at your education EDU characteristic at the top of the sheet.
Yes.
If you make that as a skill roll, we'll see if you may be familiar with this metal.
Okay. And just a straight D100, right?
D100, yeah.
Nice. I rolled a 50, and my science EDU is 80.
Okay.
I got 92, and my EDU 70. I'll stick with it. I'll stay with that because I think it's funny that you, from the field, have a lot more knowledge in this matter than I do in academics.
Well, Deepak, you looking at it's really the way the metal shines. It kind of makes you think of something, and while you can't say for certain, but it reminds you of that meteorite you saw in the museum, which where the spotlight on the piece illuminated it. It had certain areas of the meteorite had that kind of an iridescent kind of look to them, and this is what you kind of recall when you look at this sconce.
You remember the rock that I sent you that one time, that the meteor, and you remember how the colors of the object changed when you put it under light? Doesn't this remind you of that?
Now that you mention it, it does have a very similar behavior to the light. Yes, in fact, an uncanny resemblance, if anything.
I remember the metal that would be related to, but can't really quite put my finger on it. But it seems something not of this world, though. At least extraterrestrial in nature.
Could I recall any information, since it's been brought up, while I wasn't great at my analysis role? Is there a way that I could try to call upon my memory of this interaction?
You can remember that now. It's kind of brought to mind. You kind of think on it, and having seen meteorites in the past, in your experience, then yes, this does. It would appear to you to be the sconce was perhaps melted, made from melted down metal found in a meteorite, perhaps.
I, up until this point, have been, especially since we came into this, identifying a lot of these behaviors as easily explained. This could be someone in their sleep, as Wentworth mentioned, who might have been troubled. The possibility that the gentleman himself said that he could be scratching himself. But this strikes me as incredibly unusual. As in, why would someone smelt down a meteorite to make sconces?
Good question. Meanwhile, Wentworth, in the sitting room, you enter. It's lit by again gaslight, and you notice the windows are all kind of frosted out with the snow that's building up against them. But there's a warm fireplace giving off heat with a stock of wood ready to further feed the fire. The walls are also wood paneled in here, and there are some paintings on the walls. And the light from the gaslight catches the fireplace around. You can see that there are kind of like metal, almost like rivets, artfully kind of decorated in the woodwork around the fireplace. But other than that, that's what your initial impression is of the room.
Rivets. Well, I'm going to investigate the rivets, since they caught my eye.
Okay. Well,
They are, dare I say, riveting.
Oh,
Aha!
Dared. I dared.
That was great.
the again, as you look closely and the firelight kind of glinting on them, they also have this iridescent sheen to them as well.
I'm seeing a motif. There's a motif. Now, when I touch them, what do they feel like?
Oh, it's you kind of, because you're standing by the fireplace, it's pretty warm. You kind of expect, if you touch the wood, it's kind of got that ambient kind of warmth to it from the fire being going all day. But when you touch one of the rivets, it's freezing cold, almost a shock. It's not, it's like, oh, you didn't expect it to be that cold.
It's surprising.
Yes.
Incongruent to what physics would belie.
Indubitably.
Indubitably. Lois, I call to her.
Well, as you call and distract Lois from the bookshelves, Lois, just before this happened, you were having a look at the various books on the shelves. Now, was there anything? Are you looking for anything in particular, or just kind of doing a general kind of looking along the bookshelves?
yeah, just like I know you already said what was on there, but I'm just gonna kind of have another look. And as I'm looking, Mr. Darkwood, were there any books that anything unusual, or any books that were removed from this room when you moved in?
No. Now you made me remember that there was one book that is still here that I thought was interesting, but I put it down and I forgot to pick it up. But now you mentioned, talking about the history of the house, there was a journal, presumed written by the original owner and builder of the house, in the library. Now where is it? And he gets up and starts scanning the shelves, and then across the way, he pulls out this kind of older kind of leathered journal. And said, "This is it. This might be of use to you. I believe the original owner written this. I think it was name of Whitney, I think." And he kind of hands you this. Literally, as he hands you this old journal, you hear Wentworth calling you from the other room.
Lady!
One moment. Do you mind if I take this with me?
Oh, please do.
Am I wearing gloves? Can I say I'm wearing gloves? I don't want to touch it with my hands.
It's a regular,
I'm
elegant 1920s, white glove.
Yeah, I feel like I would be. But I just like very gingerly, like kind of hold it in my hands, and then if you don't mind, excuse me, I'm gonna join Wentworth in the dining or the sitting room for a moment. Thank you for your help.
Not at all. Okay, so you go off to join Wentworth, and Deepak and Karan, what would you like to do at this point?
If we can't find anything related more to these sconces and the metals and why it was created the way it was created, actually, before I leave, do I get, outside of otherworldly in the sense of extraterrestrial vibe, do I get any other sort of otherworldly feel to this?
Could you, at the top of your sheet, there's a power, POW value.
Okay.
Could you give me a roll against that value on a D100?
Oh, okay. Come on. Oh, nope. I got a 63 out of 50.
Okay. So you, as you're looking around, you get this feeling of like someone almost hovering over your shoulder, sort of sense of someone watching you.
You feel that?
And Karen, if you want to make a power roll as well, see if power you.
Okay, my power up here is 60. Let's see how I do. That's going to be 77.
So yeah, it's funny. As soon as your brother tells you that, you kind of consciously, unconsciously now think, actually, yes, I got that kind of hairs on the back of my head, sort of standing up, kind of feeling that someone is behind us.
As I feel that, for Karan, it's I spend most of my time in libraries in academic settings. I'm not like you, Deepak. Like I don't go out to the field. I don't run around. I'm not like racing through markets. So to me, this is the excitement. And as my adrenaline kind of like peaks up, like a little curl of a smile appears, and I kind of just like lean over and whisper, "Does it feel like it's right behind you?"
Yeah, it's right on my shoulder.
I look up at one of the sconces. I would like to pull a handkerchief out of my pocket, wrap it around my hand. Electricity has not made its way to this house yet, correct?
That's right. It's completely gaslit. Yes.
I would like to approach the sconce with the back of my hand and see what temperature it is. Very tenderly at first, as it's wrapped with cloth, keeping my back to this presence or this eye, whatever it is behind us.
Okay. You gingerly cover your hand and hold it up to touch the metal of the sconce, and just like Wentworth, you feel this much colder than you're expecting it to be. It shouldn't be really this cold, not especially with the heat above it and the flame kind of coming down. It feels really cold, and what's really unnerving is you feel the cold in the back of your fingers as you touch it, and it's like the cold kind of shoots down your arm and all the way up to your shoulder, and your arm is like almost like for just a fraction of a second feels like it's frozen, but you pull away and it kind of soon dissipates. It was a really unnerving experience.
Since I do have an expertise in biology, can I get some information from, like, did I actually experience what I mean to ask, I suppose, is, can I tell if that was fully mental or if my body legitimately had a reaction of I was introduced to a temperature change?
Okay, you don't need to make a roll as such, because you've got some knowledge. Your best theory is that yes, it could be psychosomatic in theory, but you don't think it was. You feel that if you put your hand on there, it will do the same thing again. It's a external cold, as it were, rather than anything you're generating.
Deepak, do me a favor and touch the sconce very quickly with your bare hand.
Oh no, you've done that shit to me before.
I laugh as I take the handkerchief I had and I polish my glasses as I nod my head and say, I cannot believe you were correct in your earlier statement about finding things, pulling them out of the ground, and that sometimes being the history itself.
You admit it.
Hate when you're correct. It's always a very bad sign. Should we rejoin the others if there's something watching over us?
I suppose it's best not to split up.
Okay.
So you two finish up and make your way through to the sitting room where Wentworth and Lois currently are. What are you two talking about?
I've caught her up on the strange properties of the rivets, and I also will have gone over to do the very same thing about the sconces, because now I'm seeing similarities, verisimilitude with the types of metal. So now I'm testing the theory.
Okay. Yes.
Probably not touching anything. I'm very superstitious. I'm probably not going to touch anything, but I'm like, I totally believe you. And after you show me like the rivets and the sconces, it looks like we have a journal from supposedly the person who built the home. I don't know if you want to take a look at that.
Absolutely do.
Please read. read if you
You want me to read it?
I mean, if you don't mind, if you don't mind. Otherwise, I could read it if you want me to. It's up to you.
I've watched too much H.P. Lovecraft this week. Okay.
Oh no.
I'm sorry. I'll open it and I will start reading the first page.
Okay. I'm going to give you a summation of what you kind of gather from this journal. It's pretty old. It's the first entry is dated around 1798, and it appears to be written by a Eustace Whitney. And sort of skimming through the kind of various entries, you see it kind of records the house being built by Whitney and the trouble he had with the workmen. There's a lot of entries while the house was being built, with his dislike or distaste or annoyance with the workmen, which he calls initially kind of work shy, unwilling to do a full day's labor, that kind of thing. But that goes on for a little while. It obviously takes a while for the house to get built. But he mentions reasonably early on about the workmen finding what he calls an odd stone when digging the foundations. He describes this being around 6 feet or so in diameter. It's a pretty big rock. And he mentions it possessed an odd coloration, but doesn't really go into any length about what he means by that. But he does mention it being a fusion of rock and metal. He then later says that the rock was removed, and because of the striking characteristics of the metal, he had it broken down and smelted, and had some of the house's fittings molded from the metal. It mentions the sconces and a few bits and pieces like that. But he doesn't really go into any particular detail he doesn't list everything that he had made. Then you see there's a lot of kind of then quite boring entries about, the house is finished, I've moved in, everything's wonderful, and he talks about his work and family and all of that kind of thing, and you kind of, nothing really jumps out at you for quite a while. And as you kind of flick forward, it's around about 5 years later, it would seem, he starts talking a lot about dreams, and you pick on that pretty quickly. And he talks about having these bad dreams. He also starts to remark on about how he feels he's being watched in the house, and has this fear, this growing sense of fear that someone means to do him harm. This goes on for some time without any real any real insight or description. It's just these kind of vague impressions he has, and he says the same thing over and over again. And by the time you kind of flick to the end and see, well, what happens in the end, the kind of final entry, he writes about being scratched while he's asleep, and he dreams of and he calls it this thing feeding on his blood. He says in his last entry that he feels weak, and he is now afraid to go to sleep, and then nothing else is written.
And is there blank pages after, or is it the end of the book?
There are a handful of blank pages at the end. Yeah.
Seems to me like the gentleman here probably just read through the same book and now is regurgitating what's been there. It's word for word.
But how does that explain the metal then? I mean, just that it's made from meteor and that's it? Don't you think that, or this unique rock?
I mean, as they say,
Perhaps
causation is
the
not.
house. The smelted metal may have acted as some sort of supernatural antennae, drawing forth, thinning the veil, if you will. So this is when I step to the center of the room. Spirits, if you are present,
Oh, here we go.
Oh, dear
we
God.
are welcoming you. Make yourselves known. Show your presence. We mean you no harm.
Okay.
Yes, come do stab us in the back.
I'm like,
That's not what I said. Ignore what he said. I don't approve of the stabbing in the back. I would prefer a hello. We are spirits, or such.
There's a moment of quiet as you all kind of, expectantly wait for something to happen, whether you get an answer or whatever. And there's a quiet, and then you hear a knocking, a kind of rapping of kind of.
One might say a tapping on the chamber door.
Tapping on the chamber door.
All right.
Do you hear that? Do you all hear that?
It carries on. It's still going on.
Someone's knocking on the door. I mean, clearly, someone's.
Can we geolocate where the knocking is coming from?
Okay, so it doesn't. You can hear it in the room, but it doesn't seem to be in this room. You kind of go out to the hallway, and I guess Deepak looks towards the front door, see if someone's knocking on the door. It doesn't seem to be coming from there. It seems to be coming maybe from the dining room.
Mr. Darkwood, do you need something?
He comes out of the parlor. This is the sound. This is the sound. This is how it started. This knocking sound.
So you're not the one doing this.
Rush to the dining room.
It's still going on. Still, you can still hear it.
I'm going to try and follow it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to follow right behind him.
Okay, so
I'm going to stay with Mr. Darkwood for a second.
Okay, so he's kind of in the hallway just outside the parlor now. And Lois, are you following the others or staying with Karan and Darkwood?
I actually would like to. I have a question for Karan, so I'll just I'll stay for a second with Mr. Darkwood.
Fine. Okay. So Wentworth and Deepak, you you get a sense it's coming from the dining room. So you go down the hallway and into the dining room, and as you step into the dining room, the noise stops.
We've been summoned, spirit. Your noise has brought us to the dining room, for which was its origin. Make yourselves known.
As you say that, one of the sash windows in the dining room suddenly lifts up and snow starts billowing in.
Oh God, no! And Deepak is gonna go and try and close the window shut.
Yeah. It doesn't stop you. It kind of, you can clutch it down. You get a bit of snow on you, as it were, and but you close it.
But listen. Whether there's spirits here or not, clearly, if they were, they're malicious, and therefore we probably don't want to actively try and invite them to. I don't think they'd be so forthwith in coming and sitting and having a conversation at the table. It's not seem like the prudent thing to do.
Knowing what are facing is the first step to ridding this place of its malevolence. If we can see the spirit, we can then solve this man's problem. He has brought us here for it.
You and I know 90% of the time it's nothing. It's usually loose floorboards or this window cracking open due to
you
the
have
fact that
told us and seen for yourself that the metals are otherworldly. So it would stand to reason that whatever's happening in this building is otherworldly as well.
Meteors are scientific. They come from space. We have observed this. We know that they come from space.
But do they not hold heat? They should conduct as any
metal.
other metal. Yes, but they should hold heat. The rivets on the fireplace stayed cold, even though the moldings and the wood around it were warm. The gas-lit sconces should have been heated, and yet they remained cold. So cold, they drove that shiver to my shoulder. What?
Wait, what did you just say?
I touched the sconce in the sitting room, and the cold travelled at my arm. Then I called out to the spirits. This knocking began. We were driven to the dining room. I'm just recounting what was just recounted.
I understand that, but there could be piping that is old and rusty and not working properly. The windows are cracked open, and the wind blows.
Whitney? Are you Mr. Cricket? Spirit, make yourself known.
I can't get to this man.
There's
I swear to God, if I'm haunted after this, I will blame you.
I will accept that, for it will be definitive proof of what we are seeking.
you don't hit. There's nothing further strange happens despite your request, Wentworth, at this point. Meanwhile,
Captainism. What?
Sorry, carry on. You carry on.
No, I have nothing left.
Okay, fine.
Empty vessel.
Meanwhile, back in the hallway, Lois and Karan are with Darkwood. And Lois, you wanted to speak to Karan?
Yes, well, I mean, I have a question for Darkwood as well.
Okay.
So, I'll just kind of like stand near them as they're having like their conversation, and then as we walk towards, I'm assuming we'll walk towards the dining room afterwards. I'll ask my question to Karan.
Okay.
As we're strolling with Mr. Greenwood, and we hear the yelling from the dining room area. You'll have to excuse. You'll have to excuse them. They do this literally every time we go somewhere. What is the step that happens after you hear the knocking? Could you remind me?
Yes, it was a knocking, and then it was the cold, the sudden feelings of freezing cold that would come and go without warning. It was then I saw the apparitions began to appear.
I see. And as we continue through, I pull out a notebook and I start to jot down a list of items, relying on my biology background. Would you mind possibly seeing if you have the following ingredients in the house? And I fold the piece of paper and I hand it over to him.
Okay. Yeah. It's yes.
But before you depart for that particular assignment, I believe Ms. Russo had a question for you, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So we did read the journal. I don't know if you got to the part about the the different metal accents in the home being made of a unique rock found by the builder of the home. Were you aware?
No. I only read a little bit at the start, and I meant to read more, but then I kind of forgot about it. The certain metals around the house, certain fittings are very unusual and striking, and I quite like them. It's one of the reasons I bought the house, actually, because of the unusual look of them. But you say they're mentioned in this journal.
They did, and you haven't found any maybe leftover, like a big rock somewhere on the property, maybe in a room or outside, an unusual rock?
No, I don't believe so, and none of my workmen mentioned anything. I mean, there is old junk and so forth in the cellar. Maybe it's down there. I have to say I rarely go down there other than to fetch wood and get the tools for the garden when the weather is more clement. But
do you think if I found maybe some extra of this metal, maybe a broken sconce or something, do you think I could take some with me?
Yes, if you can, if there's a spare, as I say, I would warrant it would be in the cellar if that was the case. But if I would have no problem with you taking it away for examination. So
yes, I'm a student at the university currently, and my professor and I'm an engineering student, and so I was just hoping to maybe use it for some of my work, if that would be okay.
Yes, I know. I have no use for any more of it, as it were. Yes. If you can find some, then be my guest.
Thank you.
And before you leave us, Mr. Darkwood, you haven't experienced any of the sounds of dogs barking that is mentioned in the journal, have you? No sound of dogs.
No, not at all. No, no dogs. No.
And as he answers, I would like to try to read him. If
that would be a psychology roll.
Wonderful. Let me remind myself of my psychology here. That's 30. Okay, here we go. We're making big moves. Okay, that's 70.
So I guess you may not have enough luck to make that a success.
Yeah.
Or you'd use it all up, perhaps. So this is an opportunity if you wanted to push the roll. So
yes, he answered pretty quickly. And so I'm going to go ahead and push it to add an additional detail while I'm thanking him and shaking his hand. To also get like a body language read as well.
Yeah.
And so, and then I'll add like, and the only in the journal, it's mentioned that there are apparitions of frightening animals. You haven't seen any of those, just the man. Is that correct?
Right. Okay. So I'm going to interpret what you've said. You know, you do what you do, but I'm going to interpret. You know, you also give him a pretty hard stare, really kind of direct look in the eyes.
Yes.
And the reason I'm saying that is, if you fail the roll, he's going to get a sense that you don't believe him, and so there's a chance that he could be offended in some way, perhaps, if you fail the roll. So if you want to have a go, then you can make a.
Let's do it. Let's push this. Okay. Wonderful. 51.
Okay, that's another fail then. So yeah, he looks at you and he kind of stares back, and he says, why are you looking at me like that? He kind of takes a back step.
Don't mind him. He I mean, he's the most skeptical of all of us, really. So, but I'm sure we all just really want to help, I promise.
Well, I won't be looked at it now in my own house like that. I've invited you in to help me, and I feel like I'm the criminal. I feel like you're accusing me of something. I've done nothing wrong, and he's quite upset. However, Lois, you could try and calm him down perhaps a little. Now, there's a number of kind of social skills on your sheet. One of them is charm, another is persuade, and another is fast talk. And you may have one that's better than the others, perhaps?
That's great.
Charm?
Charm is my best.
Okay.
So let's hope I roll all right. Oh. Okay, I can stop it. And it was 15.
There you go.
Okay.
That's a hard success. And so what do you say to kind of calm him down? What further do you kind of like tell him to, stop?
I'm just like, I mean, you're stressed. This is stressful. It's okay. It's okay. Do you want to go back to the parlor room? Did you get yourself a drink, Mr. Darkwood? Can I at least serve you something?
Oh, I do apologize. This whole situation is getting the better of me. I do.
I mean, you're hurt. Of course. This is a normal way to react.
A drink would be splendid. Yes, please let us go, and he kind of lets you lead him in, and sits down, and he'll pour you both a large brandy if that's the case. But he seems to have calmed down a lot now.
Mr. Darkwood, do you mind if we join our companions in the dining room for a moment?
I think I will. If you don't mind, I will just sit here and finish my drink, and then I have this list which I must get together. I believe I will join you presently, but I feel my nerves are a little raw. I will.
Please rest. We'll just join. We'll just go and see what the yelling is all about in the dining room.
Okay.
Karan, will you please accompany me?
And I will.
I am an epistemological warrior, and I believe that what we have to do is get to the bottom of this, Deepak.
Right, but it doesn't mean you have to directly invite them and attack us. You know that they're the type that is
I
going
know
to be
as soon
violent.
that anyone will attack me. I open a door. I don't. Someone's going to come rushing in at it, strangling me. I have yet to find. Oh, hello. Sorry, we were in the bit of it.
While you both, as you kind of round up your conversation, could both Wentworth and Deepak make a spot hidden roll, please?
Ooh. All right. What was mine?
I got a 4.
Ooh! I got something real nice, but I have to
That's
double
even
check.
under my. Because mine's 50.
2 successes. There we go.
I got a 9, and my lowest number is a 10. As in, it's a 50, 25, and then 10. So what's that mean again?
That's an extreme success. It means eagle eye.
Wow, a 4.
Okay, so again, both of you have made this roll really well. So you're despite you're kind of having a bit of an argument. I guess what happens is one of you notices it. Well, you both kind of notice something in the corner of your eyes, and as you're kind of both talking to each other, you both kind of do this kind of. You both notice at the same time, and both together, almost in unison, you both look in the corner of the room, and you both see in the flickering of the gaslight in the corner of the room this kind of hunched and spindling dark figure kind of literally just kind of watching you.
Deepak, in the flickering of the gaslight.
Yeah, I did.
Punch to the corner of the room.
Could I have a sanity
handgun.
roll from both?
A what roll?
A sanity roll.
Oh, yes.
Oh, this is gonna be bad.
So where am I finding
Lois,
that
I'm glad that we're not
So
there.
Sanity's near the top of your sheet, above.
It's in the middle.
skill
Okay,
list.
great. Thank you. I found it.
I rolled a 79, and my number is a 50.
Okay.
I rolled a 96.
All right.
Very good. Very good. Okay, so,
We love it.
Success.
okay, so
I told you. I point my gun at this. As I, at least my gun was pulled out initially. You see this? You see this? You see that, right?
I asked you the very same question. Did you see this?
okay,
The fact that we're
got him.
must mean something.
both lose 3 points of sanity, so knock down your current sanity by 3 points.
Okay.
And so what happens is you both have because you've lost sanity points, you both have an involuntary action, and in this case, I'm going to suggest that the involuntary action is you both let out a bit of a scream.
Scream! And then there's a tiny little fart. A tiny one. Ah!
Obviously,
That's what
Karen and Lois outside on the way hear the scream from the dining room, or the screams. And are you carrying on into the dining room at this point, or are you going to wait outside and think, oh, I'm not going in, or are you going in, or?
I mean, I'd probably rush in.
Okay.
And I'll let you rush in as I will pull out my penknife. I'll take 1 second to pull out my penknife, guard it as I follow you.
Okay.
Where's Deepak? Are you guys okay?
You see that in the corner?
There's the thing. What's her hair? Please.
I'm gonna like.
Lois
please keep.
runs in and says exactly that. You both obviously do a quick look to her, and then as you point back to the corner, it's no longer there. And obviously, Lois, you don't see anything because there's nothing there.
I told you not to call it. I told you not to call it.
What is this? This is why we are here. I finally have proof of something extraordinary.
What did?
It's amazing now.
Are you? I mean, did something hurt you? Are you okay?
No, I believe I'm okay. I believe we're fine.
Any marks?
Okay.
Any marks?
Except I had the wits scared out of me.
What happened?
And I fill her in. So we came into the room. I called for the spirits. The spirits threw open the sash, and there, blowing in our face, Deepak, which launched into a discussion that you may or may not have heard. And then suddenly, in the corner, a crooked figure.
So you saw the apparition?
We saw
Apparently
an
so.
apparition. I don't know if we saw the apparition.
See.
Karan, are you? Where did he go?
And I'm just perched, just very in the shadow of the doorway.
At this point,
Karen. Well, you can tell. You can see, right? I'm not seeing things, right? There's something over there, right? But there was something there. You believe?
there's from nowhere this really distinct kind of what begins as a kind of coppery, sweet, metallic kind of smell kind of builds very rapidly, and it becomes this kind of sickeningly cloying and drying kind of smell. You feel it in your throat, and it feels horrible. It reminds you of something, and then you know what it reminds you of, but you don't want to think about it, but you know it smells, and you feel the taste of blood.
You all feel that?
Yes.
I touch the inside of my mouth and touch my tongue, and when I pull back, do I see anything?
No, and as quickly as it came, it goes. Not even a whiff of it now. But
Do you all taste that?
Before you can think further on it, you hear a sickening scream from the parlor.
Yeah.
Mr. Darkwood, and yeah, we'll run out of the room.
Okay. Who's probably likely to get to the parlor first?
I'm super athletic, so me.
Okay.
I'm
So
on the
Lois,
track team at my university.
so Lois, you
there
kind of just get there ahead of everyone else by a fraction of a second, as it were, and you see Roger Darkwood kind of slumped half in, half out of his armchair, the glass broken on the floor, brandy still kind of pooling around the glass, and his kind of eyes fixed ahead, open mouth.
Mr. Darkwood, can you hear me? Hello? I'm gonna shake him.
And he just doesn't seem to be, seems he's breathing. You can kind of sense he's breathing, but he seems out of it for some reason.
I'm gonna bring a candle by his face to check pupil dilation.
Okay, so you bring the candle up, look into his eyes, and you can see his eyes like mine. And then could you make a sanity roll, please?
Great. Here we go. Okay. My sanity currently is at 60.
You're so sane and so smart.
Thank you so
A
much.
good
It's very nice
one.
of you. 87 is my roll.
Hey.
Do you want to push for it, or do you want to get used to
You
it?
can't push sanity rolls. That's one thing I forgot to tell you. Can't push.
Oh, can we do luck on those?
You know what they say. You can't push that.
No, you can't use luck on sanity, and you can't push sanity. It's a kind of a one roll and done situation, this one. But so, Karen, you lose 3 sanity points, and I will tell you why once you've noted that down.
Okay.
Okay.
Noted.
Okay, so you're looking in his eyes, and as you look, his eyes roll up and become glowing with the same iridescence as the metalwork. and then his mouth shuts, and he starts to kind of come round, but it's jerky. It's like his muscles are spasming. It's like, I don't know, it's like maybe having some sort of seizure or something, but it's striking. But it's kind of building, and it's like, it's almost, if you didn't know better, it's almost like he didn't know how to use his muscles and body. But in as every second progresses, he seems to kind of get some mastery over his body, and the eyes are still kind of this kind of metallic, glowing kind of look to them. And the rest of you now kind of see this as Karen kind of, presumably backs away a little as you kind of let out a little, and so the rest of you, if you could now make a sanity roll as well.
This is deeply off-putting. Dare I say unsettling?
Oh, damn it.
Okay, good.
59 out of 47 now.
Having just witnessed the apparition in the corner, I'm not as easily spooked. So I rolled a 4.
Nice.
71.
Okay, so Wentworth, you lose no sanity points. As you say, you hardened your resolve.
I'm prepared for the unexpected.
Deepak, it's kind of like, almost like this was bound to happen. You only lose 1 point because, again, you a little kind of almost expecting something weird to happen. And Lois, unfortunately, having not been prepared quite the same way, you lose 4 sanity points.
Oh dear.
And Lois, there's an involuntary reaction. Now, it could be a scream, but it could be something else. How do you feel your character is going to react to this kind of sudden shock?
Am I still holding the glass of brandy?
Yes.
I'm gonna throw it. I'm just like throw it. Yeah.
Well, in the air, kind of.
Yeah, but I don't know where I'm standing. I can't remember how close I am, but I'm just like, and I throw the glass.
Okay, fine. Well, I think in that case, who has the lowest luck value out of Deepak, Wentworth, and Karan?
Between us two?
Between the three of you, yeah.
I've got 50.
I've gotten luck-wise. Where's my luck? 60 luck.
Okay. And Wentworth, what's your luck?
60.
60. So, okay, so Karen, you've got the lowest luck out of everyone currently. So I think the brandy glass, or certainly the brandy, hits you.
I will pull out my handkerchief and start to dab my face to remove it.
Okay.
Sounds like the university Christmas party.
Oh my god. I am so sorry.
It's quite all right. I think that we have considerably more pressing issues, as I motion with my damp handkerchief to the now glazed over look, an iridescent-eyed individual before us.
Yeah, the man that was Darkwood is kind of seems to be gathering his momentum and control, and you can hear this kind of heavy kind of breathing now, unlike he was before, but now this kind of and he does it. He sort of stands up like this, and raises his hands and goes, "At last!"
What did he say? At last?
Do?
At last, did you say?
At last!
Like Etta James?
Not quite the same.
I have my gun out, at least in my hand at this point.
I'm gonna stand behind Wentworth. I'm gonna move myself.
I'm gonna inch forward. I'm gonna go. Creature from beyond the veil. Are you Eustace Whitney or Mr. Cricket?
I am neither. I
You're
was here
neither.
before.
Make a note of that, Lois. He is neither.
I'm like shaking as I'm like writing stuff down.
What might we call you, creature from beyond?
I need you. I need you. You. And he kind of points to Wentworth. Come closer, and I will
That's
whisper.
not happening at all.
I will
There's
whisper
no
my
version
name.
of my behavior that draws me nearer to you. We can hear each other. I'm not hiding anything from these people. State your name, creature from beyond.
Come closer, and I.
We've gone over this.
And he
I've
starts to
established my boundaries.
take a step towards you, and you can see now he's as he kind of raises his hands, you can see that unnaturally these kind of nails are kind of growing into these kind
None
of
this is
yellowed points.
No.
And
No.
teeth are yellowed and kind of glinting in
Okay.
iridescence.
What?
But they look far more pointed than they did before.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
you're
what, run?
transforming.
Run!
You're transforming.
I have my gun pointed at him.
Okay, you got
Stay back.
You are in there.
doesn't seem to take any notice of the gun. So it seems far more. And Lois and Karan, you can see that his eyes are really fixed on Wentworth's neck.
Your eyes share the same glint as the sconces.
As soon as Wentworth says that, Deepak looks at those sconces, and while the rest of them having conversation, you see him take off his jacket, and then grab at one of those sconces and try to pull it off.
Okay. So the thing that was Darkwood is kind of really just kind of taking very slow. Still seems to be kind of finding his control of this body and very slowly kind of advancing towards Wentworth. But Deepak, you kind of grab the nearest sconce and yank it from the wall. Is that the idea?
That's the idea, yes.
Okay, so your strength, your STR at the top of your character sheet.
All right.
Give me a strength roll.
Come on. Yes. Sorry. That is a 20 roll out of a 60.
Oh,
So it's
hard success.
Less
So
than half,
you really,
yeah.
you kind of like just go, and you yank it away, and the parts of the plaster come away with it, kind of thing, littering down. The gas pipe is exposed. Now, what we need to work out is whether you break the gas line or whether it kind of stays intact.
Okay.
Pull out the kind of the fitting around it, or whether half of it comes with you. Now that I don't know, and there's no skill to work that out other than your look. So
Okay.
you make a look roll, and if you make the roll, the gas line is still, fixed.
I'm gonna push, or I'm gonna.
Can't.
I
push
got
the
an
roll.
80 out of a 60 luck.
Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, a bit like sanity, luck to one use kind of thing. So you pull it away and you get the sconce, but you realize that a bit of the gas pipe still attached to it, and there's now, because it was lit, there is flames, unregulated gas. Flames going up it's at the top, third up the way up the wall, and these are now burning into the woodwork, and clearly if that's not turned off, that's gonna cause a problem in theory.
I'm just gonna be like, Karen or Russo, Miss Russo, please, you gotta turn this off. But I kind of try to whisper it, and then I turn to the creature and go, "Back, creature, otherwise I will melt this. Once you came from your home, I'm assuming this is where you're coming from. I will melt it down. I will smelt it back to the rock that you came from."
Okay, interesting. Okay, so we're kind of getting into a action combat-y kind of situation here. So in Call of Cthulhu, it works like pretty much most other role-playing games in that, you know, you all have a turn to do something, the monster has a turn to do something, and we see what happens. And the way we figure out who goes first is basically your dexterity score. So whoever has the highest goes first, and then we kind of work down from there. So can you remind me what your dex values are?
I have a 70.
Mine is 70.
So sorry, Deepak, was that 70?
Yes.
Yep.
And so is Lois.
And Lois, yep. And Wentworth?
I'm so quick with a 40.
Oh.
I'm not
And then Karan?
sick dog.
Just above 50.
50. Okay, fine. Let me just check what okay, our friends is. Okay. Okay, right. So, unfortunately, the thing that was Darkwood is slightly faster than all of you, so it gets to act first.
Kel surprise.
Round. So, you threaten, you know, with the sconce and the flame to, you know, you're threatening. It kind of seems angered by this, and it launches itself at you. Okay, so it's going to try and attack Deepak. Now, Deepak, you've got to, you can do a number of things, but mainly is, do you want to try and dodge out of its way? Do you want to kind of fight back and maybe use this lump of metal to kind of batch it off? Or do you want to do something else?
I have, while I'm holding the sconce against the flame, in my other hand is still my gun.
So you got a gun, yeah. So do you want to fire that in response?
Yes.
Okay, so let me do his attack first, and then we'll do your firearms roll. Okay, so
And it's more of like it's an incapacitate rather than to kill.
Okay,
So,
fine. Okay, so he's successful, and we'll work out what he does in a second. But now let's have your firearms roll. And
Okay.
now the good thing is it's point blank range. So
Yeah.
you make your roll, and then I'm going to give you something else.
Oh yes! Oh god, that's good. So what I need is at least below a 40, and I got a 31.
Okay, so you're successful. Now I'm going to give you a bonus dice because you could make a better roll than that.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, what you do is you take your tens unit dice, just the
Okay.
one, the D100, and roll that again. And if you get better than 30, as in a 20 or a 10 or a 0, you can get a better roll.
So just roll a D100 like normal.
Just roll. Don't roll a D100. Just roll a 1D10 this time. Tell me what you get.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oof. A 70.
Okay,
Essentially.
so that basically all that means is you get a choice of having the 31 or the 71. Obviously, the 31 is the best one.
Yes.
Okay, so you hit as well. So I'm going to get you to do your damage first, which I think is a 1D10.
Let me see. It is a yes 1D10.
Okay,
So I will roll. Come on. 3.
3 points. Okay, so it
was my incapacity.
launching itself towards you. You fire your shot. It goes straight through, you know, but the momentum is there, and it let's have a look. Okay, so yeah, and you get this. Maybe, you know, you would have had the full weight of its attack, but the firearm knocks its momentum slightly, so you don't get the full brunt of it, but you still suffer 4 points of damage as these massive nails straight down your face, your neck, and get into your.
Cover your beautiful eyes.
Where's the health for our characters again?
So under your hit points, they're near the top on the side of the characteristics.
Left-hand side.
Yeah, 1 second. On the left hand, age, Arkham, major wound, hit points. All right, cool. And that was how many points of damage?
4 points.
Oof.
Ouch.
So how many have you got left?
5 points.
Okay, so half your hit points nearly. Okay, fine. Okay, Lois and Deepak, you it's now your actions in the turn. Let's just pause from Deepak and go to Lois. And Lois, you've seen what's just happened. What do you want to do?
As much as I'm horrified that Deepak has been attacked, I'm very concerned about the gas. And I wonder if I might be quick enough to try and turn it off.
Okay, so you would know that there will be a gas valve somewhere in the house, perhaps one for this room to isolate the particular feeds in this room. They're normally hidden around the woodwork somewhere. So I'm going to say I think it's a spot hidden roll in the situation, because it's you're panicking and looking around. So a spot hidden roll to see if you can identify where the gas tap is.
Okay. Can I push it?
Yeah, you can.
Or
but I'm going to say, because we're upping the stakes with a push roll.
Oh, can I use my luck?
You can use your luck instead of pushing the roll.
Okay, I got a 46 and I need a 25.
Okay, so yeah, so you need 21 points. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it. That's fine. Why not? Okay.
That means you
leave it all on the dance floor.
And yes, you see that on the far side of the room, hopefully a little bit away from this situation, is a gas. It's a gas pipe with a tap, and you can head that way and turn it off.
All right, that's what I want to do.
Excellent. Okay, back to Deepak now. You've shot your gun, but you've got more bullets in it, or you've got the sconce in your hand. It's raked you down the face. It hurts. Blood is welting on your face.
I dip the sconce into the flame.
Okay. It gives this kind of awful kind of. It doesn't like that at all. It really doesn't like that. But it's kind of like. But it seems to momentarily phase it, and it kind of just frozen on the spot for a second or so as you do this. Obviously, it will take a little while for the flame, this metal, but you've got it in, and what's interesting, obviously, it's still cold to the touch. So even though in theory you're burning the metal, you're not getting burnt by holding it.
I, in my pain, do I notice this actually taking effect? Then do I notice the creature?
You notice the creature, as you put it in, the creature that was carry on to coming towards you kind of pauses and does this kind of, it's kind of like bamboozled for a second or something. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you didn't like that, you little bastard. I turn to everybody like, put any of those metals and put it to flame or destroy it in some way. It seems like it's its weakness.
Okay.
I shouldn't turn off the gas. Oops.
So as you do, because obviously what Lois is doing is all happening in the same kind of second or so. You do that, and then suddenly the gas goes out. That's because Lois has turned it off. Now, meanwhile, what happens next is Karen. What are you doing, Karen?
Okay, so you've dipped the sconce into the fire. This thing reacts. Lois, you turned off the gas. In a very ardent effort and success for us all not to catch fire, which makes sense. So what I'm gonna do is, while I'm processing all this information, I'm going to. There's a fireplace in the room we're in, correct?
Yeah.
We established that earlier.
Yeah.
I'm going to grab a fire poker for the fireplace, and I'm going to quickly fasten the tip of it with the now brandy-soaked handkerchief that had occurred due to Lois's tossing of the glass. I am going to light that on fire from the fireplace and then stand between the monster and Deepak until we get the gas situation sort of back online, and I start to swing it at this thing in front of us.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, okay, that's great. Yeah, no rolls needed. That's a straightforward kind of thing. It takes obviously all your action to get there and do it, but you are, by the end of your action, kind of protecting Deepak with your flaming brand. Okay, leaving Wentworth. Wentworth, you've seen all this happen.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
I say, Deepak, toss me the sconce.
What?
Just flip it over your shoulder.
Can I do that in this turn?
Right on top of me.
Yeah. It's that's a free action in that sense. Yeah.
I'm gonna book into the sitting room and throw the sconce into the fireplace.
Okay. So yes, yeah. You catch it. You jump and leap forward straight through. It's an open door through to the sitting room. You know there's a fire in there. You can literally, throw it in as you leap through. Fine.
I don't want the thing to be able to have access to it, to be able to pull it out of the fireplace. So I'm trying to isolate the burning of the sconce in the other room.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you successfully do that, the sconce is in the flames, but again, obviously, it's metal, so it will take a while to really kind of get going. But in the meantime, it's the end of the round. It's a new round, and guess who goes first? The thing that was
Creature feature.
So Darkwood is kind of like now sort of being bamboozled by this kind of something to do with the metal in the flames. It's obviously affecting it in some way, but it seems to kind of regroup, and it's got this flaming brand in its face. It doesn't like that, and it lashes out towards Karen to kind of get out of my way. Karen, you've got a flaming brand, so you can try and dodge, or with your flaming brand, you can try and basically fight back as a response to this attack.
Ooh, I think my instinct is to dodge, but I am like a nanosecond later reminded the entire reason I am in this position is to protect Deepak from the monster. So as much as I do want to just get out of harm's way and protect myself, I'll like move for a second and then steel myself and call upon any, I don't know, fencing training or something of that sort. Not like a brute brunt reaction, but I'd like to parry this creature with my my flaming brand.
Sure. Okay, so it's a melee attack, so basically it becomes an opposed roll. So I'm going to roll.
Okay.
You're going to roll your brawl skill, which is your poker, and we're going to try and basically beat each other. Who can get the lowest, basically. So.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me what you got.
I got 11.
Oh wow. So that's a hard success, and you are 2 points if you spend 2 points of luck, that becomes an extreme success, which might be important. I rolled a regular success, which means you. Okay. So without you doing anything, you have beaten me. Okay.
Got it.
But if you want to spend 2 points of luck, you will do more damage.
I'm far too competitive to not spend those points of luck. I will spend those 2 points of luck, and I'll justify it as I am combining any training in melee weaponry as well as my knowledge of biology. This thing is otherworldly under the case of a human form, but the front of it, I understand this very well. I know pressure points. I know exactly where to go with surgical precision to make a debilitating attack. So I will use those 2 points of luck.
Okay, so in that case, it would normally be a 1d6 damage, but I'm going to say because of the flaming and because you made an extreme success, we're going to call it 2d6.
Okay. First roll is 4 and a 1, so 5.
Okay.
Could be better.
Now, because it's flaming, I'm going to throw you a bonus here.
Oh, okay.
And the question is, does the flame set his clothing on fire? And the way we're going to answer that is for you to make a luck roll, because if you're lucky, then you set him on fire.
Poor guy.
Okay, I rolled 54, and my luck, that's above my luck, because I'm down to 48 now.
You kind of glance at him, but it just smolders. It doesn't really catch on his jacket at this point. Okay. Okay, but you have successfully fended him off, which means, okay, Deepak and Lois, you're both acting at the same time. What are you shouting at each other, or are you doing something? What do you want to do?
I think I'm just going to yell, "Turn it back on! Turn it back on!"
But we're all gonna explode. We weren't supposed to damage the house, right? You want to turn it back on?
Is there more sconces nearby?
There are about, well, 3 more sconces dotted around the room. Yes.
Just in this room, and then I'm assuming there's
room. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I'll you know, the voice in your heads, or your head, Deepak, certainly is, well, if there's, you know, there's obviously more metal around the house. If the whole house burnt down, that would, if that's what needs to happen, then
that's exactly, yeah,
that would solve the issue. But obviously, you know, that's one of those kind of dark thoughts we all have in our heads. Go, well, it would just be easy if the house burnt down. Now, obviously, you know, you're a rational person and can decide whether you think that's a good idea or not. But you know, the voice in your head did say that.
Question: the voice in my head, is that me as Deepak going, "That makes sense," or is that an external voice goading me?
That's Deepak. That's
okay.
That's
Deepak's
other little internal monologue.
That makes sense to Deepak, and he goes, "So be it. Turn it on."
Okay, so you're shouting, "Turn it on." Lois, obviously it's up to you. What do you want to do?
Okay, but I think that we got to get out of the room, and I'll turn it on.
Okay.
As it turns it on, I start just chucking flammable things at the flames to catch the house on fire.
There's a decanter of brandy certainly in the room nearby, so it's probably the easiest thing. But obviously, okay, being technical for a moment, the broken gas line, the flame went out. Now it's on.
Just gas.
It's just leaking gas.
Oh yeah. Then if that's the case, I'm like, everything out now.
Okay, so
I reach into the near the fireplace and I try to grab one of the flaming logs and see if I can grab one with my jacket.
Yeah, that's possible.
And basically goad everybody out of the house.
Okay.
While I chuck the flames near the gas line, as we're running out.
Okay, so just give me a luck roll then, Deepak, to just chuck the brand at the gas. Just you know, all you need to do is
a lot. Is it too much? I apologize if it's too many things at once.
No, that's okay. So this is all happening in madness, and we'll just close this bit off.
Okay.
See whether you put it on fire or not.
Nope.
Okay.
That's
the flaming brand hits the wall, doesn't quite catch the gas, rolls down the wall, but is flaming at the bottom of the wall, burning upwards. So I mean, it's going to catch fire in a moment because the flames are going to get there. So you know, not an all-out failure on what you wanted to do. Meanwhile,
Deepak will look at it, look around, and goes, "Good enough, run."
Karen, okay, you're seeing all this. What do you want to do?
I am I'm skeptical, not just of the paranormal per se, but in general. So the idea of Deepak, you just throwing the log and saying good enough, I don't trust that. I'm positioned, I'm still sparring with the beast. Deepak, you've left the room. Lois, you left the room to go turn off the gas. Wentworth, you're in the other room. You're all rushing off. I think I'm going to, instead of running away, try to block the path of the creature. I have a piece of flaming brand. I am brandishing a flaming weapon. And without turning the gas, without illuminating the gas, because I need this room to fill with it first to turn this whole room into an explosive device, I'm going to hold it away from the gas, but I'm going to try to stop the creature from leaving, and preventing it from stopping the gas.
Okay, fine. In that case, you have an attack basically if you want to kind of keep his attention on you. So that's basically what we just did. You're initiating. So you make your brawl roll.
Great.
I'm going to fight back.
Okay.
I
got 33.
Okay, so again, that's a success. I failed, so you score another hit. Obviously, it's not an extreme one this time, so it's just a 1d6 damage.
Okay. Come on, d6. I hit him. That was a 6. That was a 6.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. You really, really whack with this thing, on his head. And you've got his attention. Definitely. If you didn't have it before, you definitely have it now. Wentworth, you're watching this sconce burn, in the fireplace in the sitting room. You can see that the metal is starting to, kind of take this sheen and kind of it's not melting yet, but it's starting to glow a little bit, kind of thing. But you're hearing the kind of Deepak and Lois going running out the room, and I don't know if Karen's shouting. Yeah, are you kind of shouting at them, Karen, to kind of get out and I'll keep it here, or
Ooh, I should, but I don't.
Okay, fine.
I haven't let out any. I'm just keeping all my attention on
focused, critical focus on this thing. But Wentworth, you do hear the others kind of making their way somewhat hurriedly out of the room. Talks of fire and gas and oh no, it didn't work, and oh yeah, all sorts of chaos going on in there. What would you like to do?
So I'm running back towards the doorway of the room. It's not a huge space, so it's like I kind of toss it, and then it's all sort of happening simultaneously with the chaos. And I peek in, and I see Karen holding back the thing, and I look to the corner of the wall, and I'm going to help him. What I see on the wall is a set of antlers, and I rip the antlers off the wall, and I'm going to try and charge the creature and pin it back to the chair with the antlers, the taxidermied antlers from the wall.
That sounds a fabulous idea to me. Okay, so as the creature's full attention is on Karen, this I'm going to call it a surprise attack. So it doesn't get to respond, it doesn't get to dodge. All you need to do is make your attack roll, and I'm going to give you a bonus die for that as well. So basically, just make your brawl skill roll. Under your combat.
Brawl. Just a second.
On your skill list, it's fighting brawl, but on the bottom of your sheet, it'll just say.
Okay. Yes, but I'm not unarmed. I do have a weapon.
No, it's the same skill, but
Okay. And I rolled a 26.
Ooh.
Mine is 45. So I rolled 26.
Okay, so that's a regular success. If you want to seal the deal, no, actually you don't need. You've got a bonus dice. So roll me 1d10 and tell me what you get.
Sure. Here we go. I got a 5.
Okay, so your first roll is the best roll. We'll go with that. So you roll a 26. If you want to spend a load of luck points, like around about what would it be? 6. If you wanted to spend 17 points of luck, you would make an extreme roll, which would definitely do more damage. But it's
as Grandmama used to say, "Oh hell's yeah."
Okay, fine. Okay, so you burn a bit of luck, and you do exactly what you intended. You kind of like run it through, and in that momentum, kind of push it back into the armchair, pinning it, with these, terribly sharp kind of antlers that, and in doing that, we're gonna call that a sword. So I'm gonna, getting pierced multiple times with these curving antlers. Yeah. So I'm going to call that 2d8 damage. 2d8 because of the extreme success.
All right. See you're making me pull out dice you told me not to pull out.
Well, you can roll 2d4.
Oh, sure. So that's 11 points.
11 points. Right. Okay. In that case, you pierce it in all the vital areas, and you feel the life force just sort of stop, and you look down upon the dead form of Roger Darkwood. Whatever he or it was within him is you can always see it kind of like fading out from him, almost as if it was dripping out from him. You see it kind of fade. His body kind of starts to sag, and the eyes kind of roll back to normal, and but this kind of trickle of blood runs down from his mouth from the internal injuries you've now caused, and you see the light go out of his eyes as he just slumps dead.
I'm a murderer. I committed a murder.
Do I hear him say that?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're kind of in the hallway, kind of half trying to get away, half kind of seeing what's going to happen. Yeah.
Because if I hear him say that, I want to turn off the gas.
Right. So you can run back in.
Where's the evidence?
You know where it is. You can
Explain this.
But we need to see if he's okay.
Oh, but I literally watch the life force leave him and trickle away as his body slumped over.
Yeah, but you should get out of the room if I'm leaving the gas on.
It was sure, but
It's not wrong.
everywhere.
Okay.
I pull the antlers out, and now that I see that man has like transformed back out of the metal-eyed spindly creature, boom! I want to firemen carry him out of there to see if we can try and revive him.
Okay. As you carry him out, your inner voice is telling you, "I don't think I am, but I'll give it a go." But he looks pretty dead now, but you never know. So, are you all kind of staying in the house or exiting the house? What is the gas still on? And it's still,
I think we left it on.
Burning against the wall.
Wentworth, should I leave the gas on?
I'm going to leave that agency to you. You to decide.
I'm leaving the house then. I'm just not gonna mess with the gas anymore.
Okay,
I'll
so
leave
the
the
gas
house.
is on.
Needs to be eliminated.
Okay, so let's sum this up a little bit then. Okay, so it's within the next few moments, you've vacated the premises with the with maybe the not quite dead or maybe dead body of Darkwood on your shoulder. You're outside in the snow. The gas and flames are on in the house. Maybe you get a reasonable distance away just in case as you try to give first aid to Wentworth. Yeah, is that reasonable summation?
Can I-
The bleeding.
On my way out, can I grab like one of the little rivets or something? Or like a piece of a piece of broken sconce or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna say you can. I mean, you are risking it a little bit because there's flames and gas, but you get a good grab and maybe you pick up that other poker that's by the fireplace and give it a quick wrench and you get a bit of this metal out. Definitely, whether it's a rivet or a sconce, doesn't really matter. But you get it, and then scamper outside, I guess.
Yes, what could possibly go wrong?
Okay, so you're giving the kiss of life. You're barring his chest. You're
trying to pack snow onto the wound.
And although
the bleeding.
Although you do have first aid written on your character sheet, and I could ask you to roll it, there's not a lot of point because he is dead.
Oh.
It would just be wasting your time. So you can feel very good about yourself. You've tried to revive him, but it becomes very apparent very quickly that it's never going to happen. He's gone. He's gone.
I tried. I
And as that realization kind of falls across you all as you look down upon the dead form of your erstwhile employer, you hear this crackling sound, and suddenly the house explodes. A ball of gaseous flames lighting up the winter night, the snow, flame, barrels upwards. You all kind of take a back step as the heat wave kind of hits you, but you're far enough away. And as you all stand there silent, looking amongst yourselves, you all turn to look back at the smouldering pillars of fire and beams of the house kind of collapsing in. And as you look at the flames, you can see this spindly, hunched, black, kind of shadowy figure dancing among the flames. And we'll end it there. Well done. You all survived.
We killed a man and burned his house down.
Ever.
We're gonna get to great.
Total chaos, but you kind of fashioned it through and did very well. Very well. Well done, everyone.
That's why you get paid up front.
Yeah.
There's no
Fantastic. Well, thanks for playing. Thanks very much for playing. I hope you enjoyed.
That was fun. Thank
That's
you.
incredible.
That was so fun.
Great. Well,
Great.
this was Call of Cthulhu. Please find out more at Chaosium.com, and please now let us know where people can find you online.
I guess I'll go first. As I mentioned before, my name is KP. I go by KP11 Studios. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram, on pretty much all the socials. Just lots of things going on. Just keep track over there. I'm constantly updating. Check me out. Thank you.
Who's next? Go on,
I'll
Lawrence.
hop on it. Yeah,
Oh,
I'll
go-
go
go.
next. I'll follow through.
The Chowdhuries.
Exactly. Hi, everyone. I'm Omar. You can find me at Omar Najam on Twitter. If you like scary things or things Halloween related, every year I run a festival called 13 Days, 13 Shorts. And just to add a dash of scariness, there's an ambulance going by. You can check out 13 Days, 13 Shorts at 13days13shorts.com. People make Halloween-inspired art, so check that out. And some Cthulhu-inspired stuff happened this year, so lots of fun stuff. That's pretty much it for me.
Hi, my name is Harli Kane, and you can find me everywhere on the internet at Harli Kane. I'm a cosplayer, streamer, performer. I do all sorts of weird and fun things on the internet, so make sure to check me out.
Woohoo! I'm Todd Stashwick, at Todd Stashwick on Twitter, at T Stashwick on Instagram. You can watch me on 12 Monkeys on Hulu, or the live action Kim Possible on the Disney Plus channel, where I'm back to Draken. You can find my groovy wares at thenerdcircus.com. I co-created a Dungeons and Dragons themed tiki cocktail book called Mystic Libations that you can get at thenerdcircus.com, as well as all assorted nerdery and paraphernalia. And then coming out in January, there's a video game I co-wrote called Forspoken, and I'm currently co-writing a game called, it's untitled, Captain America Black Panther game for Skydance New Media and Marvel. So that's stuff that I'm doing. That's what
Fantastic. Well, thanks again, everyone. And thanks to you all for watching. Hope you had a great time as well. We certainly did. And look forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care.
Thank you so much. You guys are great.
Everyone.